things to worry about. Your home shouldn't be one of them. Problems with your foundation, basement, or crawl space can severely affect the safety and value of your home. At Innovative Basement Authority, we offer permanent solutions that help put your worries to rest. Call us today for a free inspection.
Closed captioning is a public service brought to you by Valley News Live.
Smoky day, unfortunately, for us here in the Valley. A view of our home of economy Skycam in Grand Forks. You can see that sun just peeking over the tree line and trying to shine through that smoke, especially at that low angle. It's got that whole atmosphere to try to shine through here. So again, it's going to be a little smoky. We do have some clouds out there too that will be streaming through today, but we'll get some sunshine, hazy sunshine in there as well. So here's a look at the southern end of the valley. This is Dilworth area on I-94. You can see it's looking a bit hazy on our DOT cam there too. So this is something that's affecting us throughout the valley with air quality that is in that unhealthy for some or unhealthy for all category, essentially for most of us in the valley. Visibility again tells the story of how thick that smoke is. The lower the visibility, the more concentrated. Right now, Wahpeton is our lowest number at 2.5 miles. Fargo 7, it's 3 in Grand Forks, so a little bit thicker smoke at the airport in Grand Forks right now. So conditions are looking hazy throughout much of the region here, and that air quality alert in effect until 3 o'clock this afternoon in Minnesota. So your temperatures, it would be otherwise be a nice morning if we didn't have to worry about air quality. Our temperatures are in the 50s to some low 60s. It's 58 in Grand Forks. Fargo's at 62 degrees, and expect to have some temperatures on the rise today. We're going to be back into the mid 80s for Fargo, but there could be a couple of places that see 90 degrees coming up by this afternoon in those areas that get a little bit more sunshine. Again, some passing clouds, but overall mostly sunny. This morning those temperatures will be rising pretty quickly, well into the 80s by noon, and again some of us reaching 90 today. So kind of more of the same here on the forecast, but we've got rain and thunder chances starting up for the rest of the week tomorrow. So details on that coming up.
All right. Lisa, thank you very much this morning. A third police officer who responded to the U.S. Capitol riot on January 6 has now taken his own life.
A statement from the Metropolitan Police Department confirms that the 43-year-old officer died by suicide in his home last Thursday. He had been assigned to the emergency response team that helped protect the Capitol building and who also faced down the rioters. More than 100 officers were injured on January 6th. Now 3 of those officers have died by suicide since the attack. Las Vegas is building a permanent memorial to honor the 58 people who died and more than 850 hurt when a gunman opened fire into a crowded country music festival in 2017.
MGM Resorts International is donating part of the property where the nation's deadliest mass shooting took place. The public is invited to submit ideas for a design. Cars, they were stacked and packed in South Florida as people waited in long lines for drive-through COVID testing.
There were 6 lines of vehicles at one drive-through site in Miami-Dade County, with people turning out for testing in droves as Florida continues to break records for daily cases of COVID-19 and hospitalizations. More than 10,000 people are hospitalized with confirmed cases in the state, and some hospitals are out of beds. The Sunshine State now leading the country in per capita hospitalizations for the virus.
The North Dakota Department of Health is hosting a town hall event this week to talk about those back-to-school immunizations. It's this Friday at 2 in the afternoon.
Doctors from across the state will discuss back-to-school immunizations and COVID-19 vaccines for children and teens. We will have a link on our website where you can watch the event and submit questions to the doctors. New drought restrictions are going into effect in West Fargo. City leaders say they're now implementing them because of a water supply agreement with the city of Fargo. New rules include mandatory odd-even outdoor water restrictions for residential and commercial uses, such as landscape watering.
Construction projects must participate in mandatory hydrant meter use. Currently, there are no restrictions on essential water uses for showering and laundry. The city will remain in phase 2 until both West Fargo and Fargo City commissioners take further action. A proposed plan to help with the drought in North Dakota, it's being met with some resistance. The idea of piping water from the Missouri River to eastern North Dakota, it's been around for decades, but crews are set to finally break ground on it today.
There are some funding and legal issues, though. Backers say the same conditions that caused the river to dry up several decades ago would cause extreme water shortages and billions of dollars in economic damage to the region. The Senate has started voting on a series of amendments to the sweeping $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure deal.
The Senate adopted 2 amendments last night, including one that funds Native American healthcare facilities and another related to the telecommunications workforce. It's still unclear, though, when the legislation will get a final vote on the Senate floor. Boeing makes another attempt to launch its Starliner capsule on an unmanned mission to the International Space Station this afternoon. It was scheduled to launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida last Friday, but NASA decided to stand down.
Now, this is Boeing's second unpiloted test flight to the ISS and the last major step before the Starliner proceeds with American astronauts as part of NASA's Commercial Crew program. The capsule failed to reach the International Space Station on its first try in December of 2019 due to a software malfunction. If you're looking to improve your mental and physical health, you might want to try something coming out of Japan. We'll explain how forest bathing might be the answer.
Lisa, we can hear you.
Good morning. Today is one of those days again where we've got that wildfire smoke affecting our visibility, affecting our air quality here this morning, and that's just going to be the case here today. One more day of this kind of forecast before we switch things up here. We'll talk about that in just a second, but let's get you out the door right now this morning. You can see that there's that sun rising and trying to shine through a thick layer of smoke in Fargo. This is at Luther Family Ford, and we have some unhealthy air quality again in the region, and that's in this red category stretching from around Crookston through the Fargo area, but especially into Clay County. The Becker and Otter Tail County areas included in that. That means it feels tough for everybody to be out in this kind of air quality. So that's something you want to keep in mind for your morning plans. Maybe hold off until it gets a little bit better if you're going to be planning to be outdoors. And then surrounding areas in orange, keep in mind we're likely in the unhealthy or unhealthy for some category as well, and those places where we don't get any data too. So that's your air quality. Here's a look at our wildfire smoke forecast. we're not seeing anything that is intense in the valley yet. You can see that there's still some orange down by St. Cloud, but through the day today, this is going to be something that fluctuates again. Here's Grand Forks, here's Fargo. When we see the yellows, we see the oranges, that's when it starts to build up. And then there are areas where we're in that blue category that we talk about, where we're in that lower range. So out by the James River Valley, it's a little bit better this morning to start. But continuing through the day, you can see we might get another little plume working its way in, and some areas in yellow and orange again for the afternoon and evening drive here for tonight. So this is something we'll have to watch out for again for your Tuesday, with this smoke kind of drifting around. Here's a look at our conditions this morning. Temperatures 50s and 60s. It's 62 in Fargo, 58 in Grand Forks. We're at 59 in Thief River Falls, a cooler 55 in Bemidji, Fergus Falls 61, and Devil's Lake 63 degrees. Let's take a look at your wind speeds on our big screen. You can see winds are on the light side, and this has been the big issue the last couple of days. There's no wind to help scour out the smoke. It's also not necessarily bringing in a lot either, so it's just kind of been holding steady where we're at here in the valley. We've got mainly clear skies, but there are some clouds drifting through, especially in our western counties. And here's a look at our hour-by-hour planner today. A warm one, basically back to the same temperatures we got to yesterday. We'll be back in the 80s coming up for the afternoon, and even a couple of places reaching 90. Lunchtime will be in the upper 70s to some mid 80s. Mostly sunny. When I say sunny, I mean hazy sunshine skies here for us. And then in addition, again, some places that heat up into that 90-degree range. By 5 o'clock this afternoon, we're looking at temperatures again that are going to be pretty toasty. Heading into tonight, we'll see some numbers in the 60s to some low 70s here for your evening plans. Look at your photo today. A familiar picture now, smoky lake views there. Gina, thank you for sharing your photo from one of our many beautiful water locations in Minnesota. We'll take a look at your 7-day planner right after this. Today is going to be a similar day to yesterday. That forecast kind of on repeat right now, but as we head into Wednesday, we'll see that chance for rain returning with a front that's going to move through. Chances for a few storms into the afternoon and evening hours will heat up as well, getting closer to 90. Some of us again reaching 90 degrees, and more often on rain chances and thunderstorm chances as we head into the end of the week. And sometimes we might see some stronger storms here through Saturday. Once that clears, we're just not quite getting rid of that smoke chance here until those fires go out. But I'm hoping we can get more breaks and more opportunities at rain, and that's coming as soon as tomorrow.
Okay, looking forward to that. Thank you, Lisa.
We are always searching for new ways to improve our well-being, maybe slowing down a little bit with some self-care, especially after this past year that we've all had.
There's a simple practice from Japan that can help that process along. Natalie Morales gives us a look at forest bathing.
The practice begins here, outside, moving gently among natural elements and fresh air. Dr. Qing Li, who is an MD and a PhD, was born in China and lives in Tokyo. We met at the Nezu Shrine, where he likes to practice what he writes about in his books, a pastime known as forest bathing. No literal bathing required. At its core, forest bathing is about experiencing nature by engaging your senses.
How do you say forest bathing in Japanese?
Yeah, forest bathing is shingen yoku. There are lots of beneficial effects of forest bathing. For example, forest bathing can reduce your stress. Forest bathing can reduce your blood pressure and heart rate.
It's not so much something we need to learn, but something we need to remember.
When you think about it, forest bathing is a lot like being a child in nature again. Do you remember what it was like going to the park, breathing the fresh air, and seeing things through a child's eyes? That's what forest bathing is about, right? Huh?
The first, you touch the tree by your two hands. Yeah. You can close your eye.
Close my eyes.
Yeah. Just enjoy the sense of touch. So maybe you can get some energy, get the power from the tree. Talk with the tree. I got a lot of power from you.
I get lots
Yeah.
of power from you, tree.
Yeah, you are my good friend.
You're my great friend.
Yeah,
Tree.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a form
so-
of meditation, really.
Yeah.
The aim is to use nature to both relax and revitalize you.
You also can do the deep breathing, like this. Deep breathing. Hi. You also can do some exercise like Tai Chi, very slow exercise. Yeah. Okay.
And we're breathing.
Yeah.
Dr. Lee says 20 minutes will work, but 2 hours in nature is best.
We are on our computers
Yeah.
and we are always on a screen.
Yeah.
So it's really about unplugging.
Yeah, we call the techno stress.
Negativity out.
Yeah, negative. Yeah. So you
Bring in the positive.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, very good.
I mentioned this earlier. I would try it. Just the music kind of calmed me down a little bit.
And it's always good to get outside and just kind of take in
Soak
the
it up.
elements when it's not smoky outside. But on a normal summer day, it is really nice. So yeah, I think it's a good reminder to maybe just get outside sometimes.
I
and-
agree.
Yeah.
Forest bathing is a type of growing green care or ecotherapy, but you don't have to have a forest to try it.
The practice can be as simple as just maybe getting outside, going through a stroll for the park, or even being mindful of your current environment.
Let's see how you're responding now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question. 20% of single people say they are looking for someone who is passionate about this.
Here's some of the guesses that you're giving us. Deanna said food. Cindy, travel. Doug says replacing the roll of toilet paper. I am very passionate about that, and I also would appreciate if other people were equally as passionate about that. Anyway, you can take part every morning on our Valley Today or Valley News Live Facebook page, I should say. We'll have the answer coming up right around 7 o'clock.
Also just ahead, local breaking news overnight. One family is hoping their son comes home soon, and police want your help in looking for him.
And pleading to get the vaccine, one man has serious regret after not getting the COVID shot, and it could be a dire consequence.
Good morning. Here is your Tuesday forecast on repeat from previous days. Unfortunately, we have another hazy, smoky day that's going to affect air quality and temperatures that are going to be warm. We're going to be back into the mid 80s to some low 90s, so similar to yesterday. And a few clouds, especially in our western counties, more sunshine to the east, but overall looking more on that hazy sunshine kind of range. And speaking of ranges, we'll be fluctuating between moderate to unhealthy categories throughout the day for your air quality.